Very good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, I am very delighted to be here. Thank you, organizers. I think Sangeeta madam has talked about everything, so my job has become easier. I will talk about the utilization. Next slide, please. So we represent actually 45 member companies of who is who from the automobile world, and the usage of higher blends of ethanol in transportation is the prime motive of Government of India, so we are completely aligned with it. Next slide. So obviously we are the fourth largest, second largest, seventh largest, second largest, and of course the largest. So India is growing, India is shining, and soon we plan to overcome and take the lead position after China and US. And of course, our contribution to the economy is enormous in terms of 6% GDP, 35% manufacturing, 4 crore direct, indirect job. So that way we have a large number of contributions made. So basically, contribution of auto industry is enormous, and we cannot undermine the growth of nation is dependent on the automobile growth. It's direct proportion. Next. So obviously, Sangeeta madam has talked about some, but I am talking about 4 major challenges India is facing. Road fatalities, energy security, global commitment, and of course the pollution mitigation. All 4 challenges, our SIAM's advocacy strategy is aligned with the Government of India vision, because we are very excited and we are completely dedicated to the vision given by Honorable Prime Minister at different forums internally and externally. Next slide. So our role is very simple. We need to have a sustainable goals, and for sustainable goals there are 2 pillars. Pillar 1 is road safety. Alarming figures, 1% of vehicle populations, but 11% of the fatalities across the globe annually. So therefore we need to work specifically on this pillar. The second pillar is decarbonization, and decarbonization is multiple routes, multiple path. And for India, the size of a country and the kind of situation we are in, we have to have options very clearly laid out so that we don't lay all the eggs in one basket. So therefore, electrification, biofuel route, recycling, CNG, LNG, and hydrogen is the actually approach which we have defined along with the vision of the Government of India. And therefore, we have very key specific messaging. One is Vidyutikaran, that's called electrification. Second is Jaivik Pahal, that's called bio initiative. Circularity, that's called Chakriyata. And gas Gatishilta, that is gas-based mobility. These are the 4 specific initiatives we have embarked upon in this Auto Expo with the help of patronage of Ministry of Petroleum and Road Transport and Heavy Industry, and of course all the ministers have blessed these initiatives. Next slide. So obviously our thinking is very simple. We are blessed by the nature. Our country is having enormous natural resources, sunshine, water. So therefore there has to be 2 approaches. One is Jaivik Pahal, which we are discussing today. The second one is the electrification Vidyutikaran, has to be based on the wind and solar and hydro and etc., but eventually it has to be used for transportation. And circular economy is very, very important, but notwithstanding this short-term, medium-term approach, we have to have a long-term hydrogen as a pre-driver for transportation. Next. So therefore, as Jaivik Pahal, we have already had enormous success thanks to our membership, who have shown enormous zeal, enthusiasm. And of course, Sangeeta ji knows that Samir Sumaya ji and the leadership of ISMA has been very, very proactively joining us. So we have demonstrated flex fuel vehicle technology, we have demonstrated 1G based products, and we have also talked about CBG and other initiatives. So therefore, enormous confidence is there. We participated in India Energy Week at Bangalore also, at Auto Expo also, and everywhere everybody knows that we have a technology, we can do what is needed for the country. Next. But obviously when we do this on such new initiative, it has to be 360-degree communication, and therefore we have 10-point concoction and initiatives on which we have a talk show. We call it a Green Tea with SIAM. Like we have to ensure that thought leaders, think tank, come and talk, right things, right place. And of course, we have initiatives of master classes, we have initiatives, stakeholder engagements, and we have other initiatives like conferences, road shows, technology demonstrations, articles, publications, and of course, social media engagements. Next slide. So therefore, stakeholder engagement is, so far hitherto we decided that it's not vehicle, but beyond the vehicle, service as a mobility as a service emerging, so stakeholder consultation is important. So not only the vehicle, but we will talk to ecosystem players. So ISMA is very important player for us, oil marketing companies are very important player for us and others. Next slide. So therefore, learning from others is first thing. So therefore, Brazil is classical example. We have entered an MOU and we have signed an MOU with Brazil, and that relationship has grown leaps and bounds, and because of that confidence, we are here today adopting E20, while Brazil is E27. Next slide. As water concerns have been highlighted by Dr. Garg, obviously we need to also explore corn route, grain route. So therefore, US Grain Council, which is largely dependent on corn, we have also signed an MOU last month. So our president and Josh Miller, president of USGC, has signed the MOU in presence of Honorable Minister, and we are having a very close dialogue with them. Next slide. And this is the picture of ISMA leadership, all the owners of sugar mill discussing with us what is possible, what is not possible, at what pace is important. Next slide. Now obviously customer acceptance is key. So for that we had created Ethanol Pavilion, and 6.34 lakh people have participated in this Ethanol Pavilion, and they got educated and they felt that yes, ethanol has arrived, there is no harm in accepting ethanol. So that was a grand success for us. Next slide. Same thing we did in India Energy Week, where 31 energy ministers of 20 countries and other 30,000 participants were there. So here we participated and demonstrated SIAM Sustainable Mobility Zone, where Honorable Minister Hardeep Puri ji was there, and it was a huge success. So there also we showed flex fuel vehicles and other biofuel vehicles. Next slide. So in nutshell, simply I want to say that we started 1.5 years back, and thanks to the leadership, here Miyaji-san is also present here himself from Suzuki. They also showed flex fuel vehicle in Auto Expo. So because of the tremendous support given by the SIAM membership, we have demonstrated that give the ethanol, we will use it. Sangeeta ji, please note. So therefore, it's a matter of India leaps and bounds going forward. Not that we don't have technology, we should have a will and desire and clear policy prescriptions, stable policy prescriptions, pricing clarity, etc., and then we are through. Next slide. So this is where the main event happened when Honorable Prime Minister on 6th, only 6-7 days back, launched the ethanol vehicles. 32 vehicles we gave, and it's a grand success. Honorable Prime Minister has shown the path, and we have walked through it. Thank you very much.